Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. Today marks 35 years since the 1990 siege on Kanehsatake began, better known to some as the Oka Crisis. A commemoration is being held in downtown Montreal. We have our reporter Savannah Craig joining us live from the scene now. Hey Savannah, how are you?
Hey Dennis, I'm well. I hope you're doing well too.
I am. What can you tell us about the gathering there tonight?
Well, it's been 35 years since the 1990 siege on Kanehsatake, which was a 78-day land dispute between the federal government, the Canadian Army, and not only Kanehsatake but Kahnawake as well, when Kanehsatake's land was at threat by the town of Oka of having a golf course built on their land. It's very painful for many who endured this experience. There was even instances of racism where a Mohawk effigy in Shatagi, which is just outside of Kahnawake, was burned. And right now we're seeing, just behind me here, commemoration in Place du Canada in downtown Montreal. And it's really significant because this commemoration happens every year, but this is the first time that we're seeing this commemoration happen in downtown Montreal.
Kind of sounds like you're hearing from Ellen Gabriel, a spokesperson at the time right now. What are you hearing from people at the gathering?
Yeah, so speeches are happening just behind me. There's a lot of solidarity groups, not just Indigenous groups, but we're hearing from a pro-Palestine group here as well, drawing correlations between the issue. And something very powerful said, as you know, Ellen Gabriel, she was the first to speak. She said that this is not a celebration. She said that this is a commemoration because people lost their lives during 1990. They lost their lives in this standoff. And just a few moments ago, we spoke with Ghislain Picard, who was the former regional chief of the AFNQL, and he was speaking about how this is not only significant for Mohawks, but it was significant to so many Indigenous people, and it was just an example of time and time again of something like this happening. He even spoke about Bill 97. So it's really important to a lot of people here today.
No doubt. Savannah, we'll look forward to your reporting from there. Appreciate you joining us here live.
Thank you so much for having me.
To Quebec municipal politics now, and a Project Montreal elected official has withdrawn from the party after making insulting remarks towards Indigenous peoples. Here's Kim Sullivan with more.
Enrique Machado was elected city councillor with the Project Montreal Municipal Party in November 2021. Machado also served on several city hall commissions, including one on culture, heritage, and sports. Recently, in a comment to a user on the social media platform TikTok, he wrote what translates into English as, "Ha ha ha, Venezuelans are like Indigenous people. You give them mirrors and shiny things, and they're amazed." Machado did post an apology on his personal Facebook page Tuesday, saying his clumsy remarks do not reflect his thoughts or values. He has since set his social media profiles to private. Montreal Mayor Valérie Plante was, until recently, the leader of Projet Montréal and remains part of the party. They both had this to say about Machado's comment. The values of inclusion, respect, and the need to actively contribute to reconciliation with Indigenous peoples are at the heart of the principles guiding Projet Montréal's mission. Mr. Machado's comments are at odds with the values of our party, our leader, and the mayor. Machado chose to withdraw from municipal politics and will not seek another mandate.
To the north now, where the Selkirk First Nation in the Yukon made headlines last month after it completed its purchase of the Minto mine, making it the first Indigenous government in Canada to buy a mine. Sarah Connors tells us there's a new development with the purchase.
The Selkirk First Nation has teamed up with a venture company with the aim of restarting production at the Minto mine. The First Nation, located in central Yukon, completed its purchase of the Minto mine last month for around $6 million. The copper gold mine is located on Selkirk settlement land. The mine's former owner, Minto Minerals, abandoned the site in 2023 after running into financial problems, and the mine was placed into a court-ordered receivership. Vancouver-based company Venerable Ventures will pay $15 million in shares to the First Nation to buy its subsidiary, which technically owns the site. Once the transaction is complete, the new entity will be called Selkirk Copper Mine Inc., and the First Nation will be its biggest shareholder. Sarah Connors, APTN National News, Whitehorse.
Thanks, Sarah. Community members of the Innu Nation have set up a road blockade in Labrador. It's caused Hydro-Quebec to pause geological work on a proposed hydroelectric dam on land Innu say is theirs. Angel Moore brings us that story.
This is a roadblock set up by Innu community members to prevent workers from entering the site to conduct a geological assessment on behalf of Quebec Hydro for a proposed hydroelectric project.
But what I will not stand is Quebec Hydro giving us a deadline on our land for our river for their money is utterly ridiculous and stupid in my perspective.
Jerome Jack Achis is from the Sheshashit Innu Nation. He is at Gull Island, where the Innu of Sheshashit and Natwashish gather every year in September to return to the land. The road blockade is about 2 kilometers away. He says community members will protect the Innu lands.
Because we don't need the companies need us. Because this is Innu land, we're proud of it, I'm going to protect it. I'll protect it. Hopefully when I'm passed and gone, there's going to be more Innu people protecting our land as well.
Percy Montague is 17 years old. He spoke on the community's radio station, CJIK-FM 94.1. He says the youth need to be included in discussions on the proposed deal.
The Innu Nation should make decisions for the future, not for right now. That's my final message.
Montague is talking about last June, when the Innu Nation entered an agreement in principle with Hydro-Quebec. The Quebec company would pay $87 million to a reconciliation fund over 16 years. Part of the agreement includes the development of the Gull Island hydroelectric dam. The youth are planning a 1-kilometer walk from Sheshashit to Gull Island to raise awareness of the proposed deal.
I'm against it due to the terms that are being brought up. And plus, this is Innu land. I don't believe that our land should be developed for money. I believe our culture is way more important.
Innu community members of Sheshashit and Natwashish have till the fall to accept or decline the agreement. However, Montague says they can get a better deal.
The Innu is just not benefiting from these deals as much as they should be. These deals happen on Innu land, these projects happen on Innu land, and yet Innu get nothing. And these corporations profit billions.
Hydro-Quebec said in an email to APTN News they will continue dialogue with community members. Achis says despite Hydro-Quebec's paused work order, the blockade will not be removed.
I'm against this because this land is not going to be our land when we perish. I'm 40 years old, over 40 years old. I believe my generation should not be involved in these type of deals. I believe that the younger generation should have and preserve this land as much as they can.
The Innu Nation did not respond to an interview request. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Jipuktuk, also known as Halifax.
Thanks, Angel. We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation with us. If you have a story you want to share, you can send us an email to news@aptn.ca. You can read and watch our stories by visiting our website, aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. Coming up after the break, we'll take you to a walk for a loved one who has been missing for 7 years. Stick around. Welcome back. 7 years ago, a woman from North Battleford, Saskatchewan went missing. Earlier this week, her family held an awareness walk in her honor, calling on the public once again for any information about her disappearance. Video journalist Rachel May was there.
Sister, please come home. We miss you and we love you. Let us know that you're okay. Something.
Ashley Morin has been missing for 2,558 days, last seen in North Battleford, Saskatchewan. Her sister Janine Morin last spoke with her on June 30th, 2018. After that, countless calls went unanswered. Nearly 2 weeks later, on July 10th, Janine reported her missing to police.
Yeah, I reported her missing. One of the hardest things to do. But I told my mom, I said, we can't go any longer without having any source of communication. So
in 2019, 1 year after Ashley's disappearance, Saskatchewan RCMP said they believed she was a victim of a homicide. A $30,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to finding Ashley. Janine says her family won't stop holding walks and speaking out until someone comes forward.
And this is going to keep going until I bring her home, till we bring her home. I'm going to raise awareness every year on the day to make sure that, she is loved and missed.
The families of Happy Charles, missing for 8 years, and Megan Gallagher, murdered 5 years ago, were also in attendance.
It means a lot, we've met these families over 7 years, and to have them come here to support us, as well as we support them through all the court dates that they go to and everything it just means the world to us.
Local leaders also joined the walk to show support for the Morin family. North Battleford Mayor Kelly Houghton said standing together, building a strong community, and raising awareness is key to making sure no family has to face this kind of loss.
We don't want any more murdered and missing Indigenous people at all. We want this eradicated. This shouldn't be an issue that families have to deal with.
Battleford Mayor Ames Leslie says he's seen the crowds grow year after year.
I just want to acknowledge the family, right? The resiliency and the determination, right? If I ever go missing or one of my kids go missing, God will and they don't, I hope that there's people like this that can rally around me or my family to this extent to make sure that we never get forgotten.
The RCMP Major Crimes Historical Case Unit is investigating Ashley's case. They're urging anyone with information to come forward. Rachel May, APTN National News, North Battleford.
To Manitoba now, where the government has announced a large funding investment for a nonprofit housing cooperative as part of their affordable housing initiative. The Spruce Woods Housing Co-op in Brandon will receive $500,000 from the province for much-needed repairs and maintenance. The aging 81-unit complex has offered affordable housing to low-income seniors and families for nearly 40 years. Their manager, Ava Cameron, says several residents currently pay $300 to $400 in rent a month. Housing Minister Bernadette Smith says it's important for the province to protect subsidized housing to prevent homelessness. She says Manitoba's nonprofit housing funding model has brought 50 separate housing projects back to life since January 2024, affecting almost 2,500 households.
We've put a lot of focus on moving people from encampments into housing, but that's just one part of our housing plan. We're also protecting the affordable housing that we already have. Investing in places like right here, Spruce Woods Housing Co-op, is an important step in our housing continuum. We want every Manitoban to have a safe and affordable place that they can call home. The funding provided today is an example of how our government is focused on working collaboratively with nonprofit housing partners to ensure the long-term availability of social and affordable housing for Manitobans who need it.
Meanwhile, in Winnipeg, the Main Street project was recently awarded the city's only mobile outreach contract. one that used to be divided among 3 organizations. Now, some nonprofit leaders are speaking out about the city's decision, saying the funding isn't enough to meet a growing demand. Sierra Bettens has that story.
From serving meals to connecting people to housing, the West Central Women's Resource Centre's street outreach van has been a lifeline for women and gender-diverse folks in Winnipeg. But the organization is parking it indefinitely this Sunday due to funding shortfalls. It's a loss Executive Director Lori English says will leave a sizable gap for the people they serve, about 70% of whom are Indigenous.
It's not just a loss of those essential services, it's also a loss of the connection to sustained housing.
English says the Resource Centre previously received outreach funding through the province. Then, in April, the province shifted the funding to the City of Winnipeg. In May, English found out that applicants for the city's outreach contract were required to provide 24/7 mobile services.
That's not a position that we were able to take because the funding available through the city was very limited, and it wasn't sufficient to have a van on the road 24/7, so that left us without any funding options.
Between 2022 and 2024, the city divided $550,000 in annual outreach funding among 3 organizations. On June 30th, Main Street Project was awarded the city's only $275,000 outreach contract for the second half of 2025. It's a responsibility their executive director, Jamil Mahmood, is honored to take on, but he still believes more boots are needed on the ground.
We wouldn't think you could have one police car or one ambulance for the entire city, so we shouldn't kind of consider outreach that. It is an essential emergency service, so we feel very strongly that there should be multiple outreach organizations. There are. We work very closely with all of them, but there definitely needs to be more funding.
APTN reached out to the province and the City of Winnipeg for comment. A spokesperson from the city said Main Street Project was awarded the contract after receiving the highest evaluation score. A provincial spokesperson said the City of Winnipeg funds outreach services for the joint Your Way Home strategy, and that the province has provided $896,600 in annual funding to the West Central Women's Resource Centre. Beyond the numbers, English says the real cost of service cuts is relationships.
We do a lot of trust building with those folks to get them connected to supports and then eventually to housing. Severing those relationships means that we will have to reestablish them if we're able to secure funding going forward.
Both directors hope to see increased provincial and municipal investments in outreach.
I hope the message out of this whole thing is we need more investment in outreach, and it needs to be kind of a holistic investment in all the needs in our community.
In the meantime, Mahmood says Main Street Project is partnering with Resource Assistance for Youth to broaden their outreach service and will continue to work closely with the organizations across the city. Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Our French language newscast is coming up right after this show. We'll speak with host Kim Sullivan after the break. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. And Annette captured this picturesque view of a canola field surrounding an old farmstead, a scene from Plamundon, Alberta. Thanks Annette and Ingo for sharing this photo with us. It's beauty. To be our next photo of the day, you can send your photos to share@aptn.ca. Longtime artist Donald Morin has been writing and performing music and acting since 1980. The grandfather now has his sights on winning America's next top hitmaker. And APTN's Chris Stewart spoke to him about his career and trying to win the top prize.
We walk in dry land. We walk on water.
Donald Morin had a tough childhood. From living in 14 foster homes by the age of 4 to being a 60s scoop survivor, Donald took to the arts to help his healing journey. He learned how to play guitar and write songs. He also took classes in acting and dance. He wrote and starred in plays and began acting in movies. He was a stand-in in the 1982 Sylvester Stallone hit movie First Blood. In 1994, he was a star of the movie Wendigo. But music was always there.
Now I pull out my wallet. I give two $2 bills.
And now at 68, he is taking his folk, rock, and blues ballads to America's top hitmakers. The competition raises money for eliminating poverty, and Morin believes he has a shot at winning.
I'm in the quarterfinals, and I need people's votes. All my songs are on the link of American Top Hitmaker. Songs about our people, the missing women, about our people in the Yellowknife, our people in Vancouver, Maine, and Hastings, like the Ballad of Norm Bullion, or Walking with Sweet Mary, or Green-Haired Lady Walking By. So all these songs are original songs. No more salmon to be found. No more salmon to be found. What's wrong with the world today?
The winner gets $50,000, a story in Rolling Stone magazine, and a chance to perform at the Global Citizen Festival in front of 60,000 people in New York's Central Park.
Their main goal is to end poverty and homelessness. So those are issues that are very important to me. And the fact that they're inviting people to play at this festival and a chance to win money, I think that money could be used to help people, not for my own needs, because I can get by through my pension, through grants, but it's helping the people that don't have what we take for granted today. Looking for my family. Looking for our family. My favorite song is Walking with Sweet Mary, which is about the missing women. That won Best Folk Song in 2016. Mad Dogs on the Run, Sundown, that's an anti-war song. That's been a favorite song of many people, which also won Best Folk Ballad.
He's currently in 9th place in his semi-final bracket, with less than a week left to vote. To help Morin, go to his Facebook page, where there will be a link to vote for him. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
It's back to regular programming for our French counterpart, Nouvelle Nationale. Host Kim Sullivan joins us with what's coming up on the show.
Hey Dennis, it's a big day at our end of the country. Everybody here will remember the 1990s siege on Kanehsatake, or Oka Crisis. We will be talking with an anthropologist and professor who was there 35 years ago today. Also, 2 First Nations signed an important deal with a mining company that will see them collaborate together, and a local elected official left politics after a TikTok insult towards the Indigenous. Tonight, 6:30 Eastern. It's going to be a great show.
Looks good. Thanks, Kim. You can catch Kim in about 90 seconds from now. That's all the time we have for your APTN National News on this Friday, July 11th. You can catch up on this week's news by tuning in to APTN National News Weekend right here tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can always stay up to date with the latest by visiting our website, aptnnews.ca. I'm Dennis Ward. Marcy Miigwech, thanks for being with us. Stick around. Kim's up next. Have a great night.